Welcome to the Lamb Partners Podcast Special YouTube Edition. My name is Dave, and with me to discuss some Dragon Ball is my longtime friend and longtime Dragon Ball fan, Jason.
Hit him with the hide.
And the main focus of our discussion today will be the evolution of Vegeta, specifically in the anime. So, to start things off here, a little bit of background on Vegeta. Vegeta is a pun on the word vegetable, following Toriyama's trend of naming all Saiyans after vegetables. So you could consider him Prince Vegetable. He's the son of King Vegeta. King Vegeta was the king of the Saiyan planet Vegeta, from which both characters and all Saiyans originate. And we first see Vegeta in the arrival of Saiyan's arc, accompanied by his sidekick Nappa, and he's portrayed as vain, ruthless, and an all-around jerk. Now, Jason and I, we picked up kind of late. You know, we were a little bit slow to get on the Dragon Ball train, pretty early in terms of Funimation having it, but we started watching, I believe, during his fight with Frieza.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I believe so, like towards the beginning of it, if I'm remembering correctly. So, Jason, I'm going to kick it to you to start off our conversation here. What were your first impressions of the character Vegeta in the anime?
Well, he definitely didn't start out as the favorite character. I would say he was more arrogant than anything else. A few quips here and there. You know, anytime he could get his dig in, he got it in. But overall, I thought he was an interesting character, and it was interesting to go back, you know, and see how he developed from, you know, the entitled prince that he was, to more arrogant, and then, you know, as we move on to the Cell Saga and all that, his evolution.
All right, so I know that you just said that he didn't start off as your favorite character. What was the time that kind of pushed him into that spot? What made you say, like, oh man, this guy's the real deal, he's awesome?
Probably after he died the first time. So, I mean, nobody watches a series like that or a cartoon. It's like, you know, the bad guy's my favorite guy. So in the Saiyan arc, he's not going to be anybody's favorite. You know, halfway through Frieza, he wanted the Dragon Balls for himself. He's not going to be anybody's favorite. But once the Android Saga came along and he really joined the Z Fighters, that's kind of where I picked up and really liked him the best.
Now you mentioned when he died the first time, and I think that might be the first time in the entire series. He had the big fight with Goku. Yeah, I'm with you. Probably not a lot of people liked him. Maybe some people did, just as a villain. But something about the way he died at the hands of Frieza and the way he pleaded to Goku was just kind of like, it kind of humanized him in a way. You hadn't really seen something like that from him. He was emotional. There's debate on why he was so emotional. Was it because he had felt like he failed himself, his planet? Was it because he wasn't the best? He didn't live up to his own expectations? But that was really like the first time that we got to see something human out of him. Like, how do you remember how you felt when he was on the ground there and right before getting zapped by Frieza? Did that do it for you, or was it not until later, like the androids, that, you know, he started hitting a little soft spot?
Well, I think, and this is going way back, but it definitely hit a soft spot, and you had a little bit more respect for the character. I mean, Vegeta, it seems like he's always about sacrifice. You know, whether he sacrifices himself for, you know, to allow Goku the extra time to heal, or, you know, fast forwarding way ahead to Buu Saga, sacrificing himself by exploding, sacrificing his body to become the best. Like, Vegeta's all about sacrifice, and I just remember that he was willing to give it all for his race's vengeance upon Frieza. Frieza destroyed Vegeta, and he wanted to destroy Frieza. He couldn't do it, but somebody else could, so he gave him the time to do it.
Pop quiz. What is the only thing Vegeta refuses to give up?
Bulma?
A Saiyan
I don't know.
gives up his pride.
Yeah,
I think
that
was
too.
the line. Just going back there. So, it kind of you kind of alluded to a little bit further in the Buu saga. Let's rewind a little bit, go back to the Cell saga. So we talked a little bit about the Frieza saga. So
Oh,
Vegeta's
the
in the
Final
Cell saga.
Flash.
Do you remember when he realized that Trunks was his son? Do you remember the moment?
No, no, I don't remember.
So I believe they were chasing Dr. Gero, and it was when they were hunting for him, like through the rocks and whatnot, and he realizes that he's his son. And it's interesting too because he's like, "Oh, Trunks, that's his name." He hears somebody say it, and he goes, "My son's name is Trunks. What? This guy's a Saiyan too." And it's kind of like he's putting the things together and all that. Do you do you think that Vegeta, and this goes back to like him as a father? It's where I'm kind of directing this thing. We start to see him kind of act fatherly for the first time in the Android saga with his adult son who's from the future, yada yada. Did Vegeta, do you think, evolve as a father? And I know that you are, just to give the fans and listeners an idea, Jason is in currently watching the dub of Dragon Ball Super, so we're not going to talk about the subtitled version. That's pretty far ahead. But the dub, you are at the part where, which part are you on?
Goku Black.
Goku Black. Okay, so current with at this time, at the recording of this video, Goku Black is the current arc, and you've seen Vegeta kind of evolve as a dad starting at the Android saga. What are your thoughts on Vegeta as a father and the evolution of him as a father?
That is a good question. He definitely started off very I don't want to say ruthless or uncaring,
It'd be a little fair. You could start off like that.
but tough love is where I'd put it, and it's probably what he knew. And maybe we're getting too deep into psychology or whatever, but if I remember right from, I don't know, maybe even the Bardock movie, King Vegeta was definitely more tough love than
Oh, sure.
well, Grandpa Gohan would have been for Goku.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you definitely have that tough love aspect, but I think as time progressed, during the Cell saga, the Trunks was a baby or a teenager, future Trunks. He was definitely tough on Trunks, but I think Trunks gained his respect at some point during the hyperbolic time chamber training. But as time goes on, he tries to impart this little tidbits of don't give up, pride, those things that you'd want to teach your son or daughter as a father, maybe in a little bit of a harsher way, but the point does get across.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think the hyperbolic time chamber, he starts kind of being a father to future Trunks, not really knowing, like not you don't really see him being a father to infant Trunks, but you see him kind of being a father to future Trunks, and I think his relationship with future Trunks, in like some weird way, gave him like this soft spot for his infant, who he seems to have completely ignored up to this point. Bulma shows up and he's like, the woman's here, and whatever. But like you were saying, like moving on forward, now let's push on to the Buu saga. How about the scene where Trunks turns into a Super Saiyan and he says, if you can hit me one time, we're going to the carnival or park or however you want to translate that. And Trunks, swings, pops him. Vegeta, out of Saiyan instinct and combat reaction, nails Trunks
Decks him.
And
Trunks deserved it.
Yeah, so we get to see him kind of like be a dad. He's like, okay, fine, let's go to the park, and that's kind of how he's portrayed, as like this grumpy whatever. But they portray him in a way that's like, he's kind of a family man because he still does these things. He's still, in the beginning of Super even, I know we're getting a little too far ahead, but, going on vacation with the family. You see him cooking with the family. You see him just kind of evolve into this guy, this father who does like, these goofy things and willing to do them. Some things that he would have, I think we could agree, he would have never done in the Frieza saga or even the Android saga. He's willing to do anything for his family, and you can tell with him, not because he's doing anything, but because he's doing things so out of character from his like former evil self. And
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
he'll grumble about it, but he'll do it. And I mean, you can't tell me there's not a lot of dads out there who's like, but
All
they'll
right.
just, yeah, exactly. So you can't. It's definitely more prevalent, in the later stages of the series. But yeah, I would totally agree.
Would you say he's a
You know,
good father by the end? Let's up to where you're at in Super. Was he a good dad?
I think he's better than Goku. I think Piccolo was a better dad to Gohan than Goku was.
Ooh. Okay. Well, let's hold off on that. That sounds like a whole other video that we can record at a later time. I happen to disagree. I think that I want to tell you. I don't know if you've looked it up, but a lot of people agree with you. They say that by Super, that Goku's selfish and Vegeta is the better dad and all this stuff. And I would love to address that on a different video, but I want to just pay a little bit of tribute to the Prince of Saiyans. Tell me, what is, in your opinion, the greatest, most
Final Flash.
memorable
Final
Vegeta
Flash.
moment?
Not even close.
What
Final
about that
Flash.
scene makes it the most memorable?
I mean, and I'm talking about the English version. I haven't seen the Japanese subtitled version, but
Yeah, neither have I
the
yet. I'm gonna
English
get to
version,
it.
when he swings his arms out and he's just like, he calls it Cell, and he's like, he's taunting him to stay right where he
Stay
is.
right where you
He's like,
are.
and Vegeta's the type where he'll give you everything he's got, and I think that's part of the other reason why I really appreciate his character. But you have his theme music going, you have him like grunting and screaming, and the way that the English version, I feel, trumps the Japanese version. But it's just a very powerful, tense, dramatic moment in the series, and he's going for broke. So how can you not like it? I'd say it's up there with the other 3 or 4 very memorable scenes. Chirpy Bird Gohan is one of them. Goku going first, Super Saiyan the first time. But that one's up there as well. I think it's
Bird
I think
Gohan.
I think it's more dramatic than him telling the story about him going Super Saiyan the first time.
I agree.
I think that was
I
his
agree.
moment of passion and power.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some really good one-liners in the English and the Japanese version. I don't know, I don't know word for word the Japanese because I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna rewatch those. But I've watched the English version enough to know. Does an android like yourself ever experience fear? Like, he's got some really good. And you're just like, yeah, Vegeta. Like, guys who don't even like him are probably like, yeah, like this is the guy right here. Do it. But there's actually one part. There's one part for me, for Vegeta, that brings a tear to my eye, and I think it is Vegeta in his best moment in the entirety of anything. And I'm on the Japanese Super version all the way up until current. There's only 2 episodes left at the recording this video. Do you know what moment I'm referring to? It's maybe one of the best moments in Dragon Ball, period.
I mean, I have a few ideas, but
What would you say? What would bring a tear to my eye? This eye right here.
I think I think maybe when he explodes,
You're
and
correct.
Majin Buu. I'm actually watching DBZ Kai. It's on demand right now, so I've been catching up, and unfortunately that part has passed. But it just shows that softer side of him that you don't see at all.
And it's so like he's a hero, man. Like that's the first time that's the first time in the series of Dragon Ball Z. Like I know that he's technically a hero in the Android Saga and helps Gohan kill Cell, all that stuff, but this is the first time that the dude is like a straight up like Goku level hero. At that moment when he's saying, I'm doing this for Bulma, I'm doing it for Trunks, and yes, I'm even gonna, bite the bullet and do it for you, Goku, because Kakarot, because this is, he's giving it his all. He asks Piccolo. I think what makes that part so powerful for me is he even asks Piccolo. He's like, am I gonna get to keep my body if I do this? And Piccolo's like, come on, man, please. Seriously. And he's like, okay. And he still goes through with it, and he still sacrifices himself, knowing he's not going to get to keep his body, the thing that, as you were saying, he's worked on forever to be the best, to beat Goku. And he goes it all the way for his family. So I think that's, a pretty cool thing, and he does it for his family, for Goku, brings a tear to my eye. Dude, I just love that part. It's top 5 all time for me.
Yeah, and I think he does it for more than just his family. He does it for all of Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, really. What are your thoughts on him admitting that Goku is number 1 and he is second fiddle during the Buu fight? Do you think that's a period of growth for him? Do you see that as like, were you annoyed by that? Is that like a weakness of character? Did that show growth, or were you frustrated by that when he said, "All right, Goku, you're the guy"?
Well, I mean, that's been a common theme, as much as he'd prefer not to admit it. That's been a common theme for him his entire existence in Dragon Ball Z. And because Vegeta's always on Goku's heels, that motivates Goku to get stronger, which in turn motivates Vegeta to get stronger, and it's just this vicious cycle until, and again, I'm not as far as you are through Super, but right now they're on an even playing field.
Do you ever feel bad for him that he's just like perpetually second fiddle? Like even the Cell saga, like Goku's dead, so you'd be thinking like, oh, it's got to be Vegeta, he's the guy now. Like Goku's gone, it's got to be Gohan passes him. And he's got to be second fiddle to Gohan. There's never like really a moment in the entire series that he's not second fiddle. Is that where he belongs? Is he best in this show as a second fiddle? Or do you think the show would be making a smart move? Toriyama would be making a smart move by pushing him in front of Goku, let's say in Super, because we know that that's still in process of being written.
That makes me sad. I want Vegeta to be number 1. He is the prince and all, I think it is. It's. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing because, to be second best and to keep pushing constantly to be the best, I think that's a endearing quality in any character, person,
for sure.
You can't really name a lot of number 2s. You know what I mean? Like,
you got Riker. He was a good guy.
Who?
Star Trek? Anyone? No.
Exactly. You don't know a lot of number 2s, and a lot of people would just give up. And I'm not talking about Dragon Ball Z right now, but a lot of people would just give up for not being number 1. So him having that quality is definitely
redeeming.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah, redeeming.
Cool. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. I could talk about Vegeta and Dragon Ball all night, but just for the sake of keeping it short, Jason, before we go, Vegeta in a word. What word would you use to describe Vegeta in one word?
I mean, when though? Like Super Z Cell?
In your gut, one word. What word would you use to describe him?
I don't know. I gotta check the thesaurus. Regal.
Regal. Ooh, I like that.
That's a good word.
You're telling me that was from your gut. Regal came out of. All right, Regal. I'll allow it. All right. Well, thank you, Jason, for recording this video with me. It was a pleasure having you on. For everyone who's listening, if you enjoyed this video and would like me to create more content just like this, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the Land Partners channel and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Apple App, and Stitcher. If you listen this long, you must love Dragon Ball or our voices or Vegeta. And I thank you for listening, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for listening.